talk about breasts.
Let's talk about you and me
Let's talk about all the good things.
and all the bad things.
Welcome. We are here with episode 24.
24.
Thank you for joining us. I am Chantel,
And I'm your best friend, Jaleesa.
and we are here to bring you more of BoobTube. So last week we discussed putting on a bra correctly. This episode may lead to getting out of it. It is officially scouting season in preparation for cuffing season. What is it like in them dating streets with breasts? We'll get to that. And we also have a guest joining us. But before we get to that, let's get to the streets first with BoobTube on the Move.
Do you consider how a woman's breasts look while dating? Like if you go on a date?
Like, yeah, of course. Because I know me personally, I'm very visual. So, you know, if you're looking good, of course, I'm gonna acknowledge it. That's just how I am. You know, I have to say so. If I don't, I'm like, dang, I feel like a little loser for the night. But nah, I will.
You gotta say something like what?
Like, I mean, just, you know, just give a nice compliment or something. You know, not too much. You know, just to acknowledge, hey, you did your thing for the evening or whatever. You know, stuff like that. You know?
Keep it classy.
Yeah, keep it cool. Keep
I
it
like
cool.
that. Okay.
Have you ever been on a date where a man blatantly focused on your breast while on a date?
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
Uncomfortable.
Okay. How did you notice he was like you just could see it in his eyes that he was just
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think breasts impact dating?
I think it does a lot because it just brings the structure, you know, like if someone is not well supported, you know, I feel like that's just kind of like their lifestyle, I guess, relaxed versus someone that's very structured, you know, has the perfect fit, they care and they take more time out, you know.
So you're thinking like if someone has the structure, like they're put together better
They were
for
put
it?
together, yeah. Like,
Okay.
you know, if they're structured, if they're, you know, took the time out to find the correct fitting bra and
Okay.
feels comfortable, that definitely plays an effect because, you know, that you're going to be more confident if you're well supported and fitted
Got it.
versus if you weren't.
Do you feel like a man has ever blatantly focused on your boobs while dating?
Well, no, because he's my first boyfriend, and we.
2 years.
Come on, 2 years.
Yeah, no, like he never approached me with like my body or anything. Like I always had baggy clothes on, so
Okay.
that I know for sure.
And do you consider breasts like when dating? Is that something you're looking for?
I will. Before I got a girlfriend, I like to say a very immature mindset because I was like, oh, I want to, not even a Mexican girl, I wanted an Asian girl, you know? As dumb as that sounds, and I was like, oh, I wanted to make Chinese food and all this, and I was a kid though. I was a kid.
You were a foodie.
Yeah, man, I love food. Man.
Me
I will
too.
say that. That's the way to a person's heart, in my opinion. You know, everyone eats. But I will say, after getting a girlfriend, it's more about how they think and how they feel with you, you know, and that feeling, that connection you have with them, you know, like that love in between them.
Look
Like
at that
it really
love
does
right
feel-
there. Okay.
Oh, we got you a good one, girl. Okay, we shouting out to 3 years.
Do you or did you consider how your breasts look while dating?
No, I didn't have much breast.
All right.
Oh, no, I have too much, but I didn't have any breast while dating. It's like I was aware, like when I look at my friends, they had breasts. You know, they always have on this push-up bra. I have to be stuffing mine with like napkin, you know, so my shirt could lift up off my chest.
Is that what's part of dating too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that was pretty much kind of what I expected. You know, we had a variety. The woman, she didn't have much breasts while dating. And then the other lady said it has happened to her where a man was looking, but it was uncomfortable, of course. And the other man was talking about how he would look like just to the point of wanting a compliment,
Yeah.
but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And who else? The couple, you know, nothing significant with them. You know,
No.
shout out to y'all and y'all's love story though.
Now, yes.
Y'all cute.
Keep that up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
then-
nothing out of the ordinary when it
Yeah.
comes to, I guess, dating with breasts. Something that I picked up on, like when the woman said, you know, she didn't have much. I wonder if there's like this perceived thing, like if you're maybe don't have as much, it's not a big deal, versus if you have more? Is it a bigger deal? Because the one woman who said she felt uncomfortable.
Perhaps, because I feel like if you're a man that's doing that, usually you're like a breast man, of course, and they probably. I mean, there are some breast men that I feel like are okay with small breasts, but I
Mhm.
just feel like most breast men like more full breasts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's why it wasn't a thing. I did wonder. I was like, well, she was talking about stuffing her bra and stuff. Like, I wonder if that was a thing. Like, did a man ever see the stuffing
Yeah.
and was
Oh,
like,
that
what is
would, yeah.
this? Or you fooled me, you know?
Yeah, then what happens after that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder if that ever happened. So,
But then again, it goes back to, it seems like when it comes to dating with breasts, there's this preferred of fullness or more. If she didn't have much, but she was stuffing it, she felt like she needed to stuff
yeah.
herself.
I mean, I guess they like a little handful, a little something to hold on to.
You
Most
start
men.
grabbing with some tissue, that's gonna be upsetting. I'm pretty
You're like,
sure.
what is this? But hey, little boobies matter too.
They do.
The same way they say with little booties, they say pancakes still get flipped. All right, amen. So your what do we call it? Your mosquito bites still. What can we say for them? Mosquito bites still
I mean, somebody bit them.
bite.
Mm-hmm. You gotta
There's
get
still
bit
some
before
bite.
you get a mosquito. There'll be something out there.
Mosquito bite still got some fight. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna call it.
They still.
I'm gonna think of something.
She will.
You know, I'm gonna think of something to go with the pancakes, so that we can show some appreciation to our smaller breast people out there.
How do you feel about dating with breasts? How's your experience been?
I have had someone that was just like staring, and I was like, okay, like, could you be more obvious? Not that I had on anything revealing, and I think later I was like, you're a breast man or something. He's like, yeah, how'd you know? It's like, how did I not know?
Exactly.
I was like, it was so whatever. Anyway,
What do you think goes on in their mind?
I mean, some of them tell me.
Okay.
They like want to know. They want to know what they look like, so they try to like figure out what they look like in their head.
Okay.
And I guess like just wanting to touch them and stuff.
They ask.
Has someone asked me to touch?
Like on the first date.
No, not that.
Okay.
I haven't had that happen, but
Okay.
I'm trying to see if someone has ever asked me like if they could touch them or something.
Is that they've gotten to know you for a little bit?
Yeah, I guess, but I hope no one asked me to touch them. Like
now they will.
no, I'm like, I mean,
that is courteous at least.
yes, with consent, that's great. But I just feel like if we're there
You
and the
shouldn't
type
have
of
to
woman
ask.
that I am, my preference, please don't ask me that. You know, like if you know I like you type
Yeah.
stuff. Now if it's something where it's not that type of vibe, don't even ask. But when you try, I will hit you.
She will.
I will. I know I will. I've done
I
it.
know she will.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself, please. Don't even get sad like that. So yeah. I've had that, or just I don't know. Some people might say, you know, they want to suck on or something, taste or whatever. You know.
In preparation for dating, do you feel like your breasts play an important role in your dates?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I like how dude said in Boots Gonna Move, you know, he talked about mentality, like childish versus mature, and how, you know, getting to know the person. So it just made me think, you know, people can automatically judge a woman by her breast size or whatever, and not get to know them. So they already kind of have this idea of what type of woman before they get to know them.
What do you think what type of women do you think that they are presumed to be?
One, I think it depends on how the woman is dressed. Like, let's say, even with a smaller chested woman, if she is very revealing, I think that can still put something inside their imagination and have them curious about some things. And even if you're full or bust, I think that depending on what you're wearing could kind of present, like they're going to stare more. And so if they're staring more, and I think that's the key, even with small breasts, if they're staring more, it's leading them to think that there is a victory at the end.
No victory. I think even when you mentioned it now, like with the smaller breasted women, a lot of them you'll see have the nipple piercings, and they might, like, since they do have small breasts, they don't wear a bra.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of out. So that could be something that they look at or bring about some assumptions or about the woman too.
Yeah, I
When
think
you see that.
Yeah, I mean,
even larger chested women have piercings too.
Yeah. So
But
I think we still need more male insight on this too. So
yeah, like what y'all thinking? I mean, sometimes I wonder. I mean, because like so many women aren't wearing the right bra size, and I look at breasts a lot differently. And so I'm like, do the men see her like spilling all out and that bra fitting so?
But a spill
ill?
out to you is probably different than a spill out to a
Oh
man.
yeah, because they kind of, I guess it's easier access for them to just grab or something.
And I'm even thinking, like, when I see your before and after photos, like, I don't even know, like to me, you can definitely see a difference, but I wonder if they see a difference.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I don't know if they do. I think I had a man like comment on it before and after one time. It was like, I like the before. I was like,
really?
Okay, sir. To each his own.
Yeah. And then also remember when we one of the video episodes that we got a lot of traction for was bra versus no bra.
Oh yeah.
So to me, that kind of, and most of the people who viewed that were males. We can see that, y'all. So
Yeah.
it's just, I guess, again, going back to my mentality, like, what are you expecting when you from the male? I want to know what you expecting.
I don't know. I don't know whether I think as far as like expecting on a date.
On a day, like when preparation, let's say first to third date, like on the first date, you see her, she looks attractive, she makes all your mark, and your breast man apparent, obviously, perhaps, like, where that is that a deal breaker? Like, I don't know,
Like if the breasts aren't sitting right.
yeah. Like, do you automatically come into a date with breast on your mind, particularly if you are a breast man and working that lead? That would be interesting. But I like how one of the Boots Gonna Move people, they talked about like how a woman is put together. So I know, women take, and men too, they want to present themselves well. But if you're dating for, a while, you continue to date. Like, I want it over time. Do you let your guard down a little bit when it comes to certain outfits and bras and
Me?
I guess in
Oh,
general,
I was like,
these are
no.
just things I'm wondering.
I can't let it down. I gotta support the brand at all times. So no, sir, I don't know or care about what you used to.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stay uplifted.
There you go.
So,
but uplifted breasts really do look more presentable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I like to be presentable. So
yeah.
I even had some dudes that feel like that's a really nice bra. Like not looking at the bra, but me in the clothes. But they also know like what I do.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, that's a really good bra.
I mean, they're educated.
Yeah.
They know some stuff.
I be sharing
that's
a little.
Good. So you be out there teaching them. They be learning.
Booby gospel.
Yeah.
Let them know.
I wonder how it would be on the first date if a guy was like, you're in the wrong bra. I can tell. I wonder how that conversation would go.
Well, they did have that whole thing where the preacher was telling the woman that she need choosing the wrong bra and needed to get a good bra and stuff.
I missed that.
Yeah. A lot of people laughed at it. Some people were like frowning about it. It was like, it's true. Maybe the delivery could have, I don't know. It was just weird. It was like a panel, like a whole bunch of women. And that's when she volunteered to come get critiqued on what she needed, like to attract a man, kind of. So it was like, but he was saying, his wife also had to get some good bras, and that was a thing. I understood where he was coming from, but most people like they were they laughed at it or thought he was wrong for saying it. It's like, not really, but it's a difficult conversation to have,
is.
even me being the bra lady, because it's like I see people all the time, and I can't always be like, hey, you need a new bra, like, because it could be offensive
Yeah.
to some, and it's a sensitive subject to a lot of women. A lot of women will like look the other way if they see that I have bras and stuff. So it's like, hey, I meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
If you're ready, you can come to me. But rarely do I tell people like, hey, it's not right, because they take it a certain way.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But as far as with dating now, I'm gonna stay uplifted and
Good. That's that confidence. You need the confidence when you out there in the
Yeah.
dating world.
yeah,
Yeah. I can. So
let it be.
be confident in your bra.
Am I? Oh, you
I
said
said
be
be
confident in your
confident.
bra.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
all the time.
Yes. There you go.
It just made me think about another video too, because I might have like went ahead, but we were talking about dating with breasts and stuff, and then it made me think about some women feeling unconscious, self-conscious. Please don't be feeling unconscious. Listen. That is not what I meant to say,
Especially on
ladies.
a date.
If you feel that way from a date, please
Report.
listen. Yes, Cosby. We can't be having no Cosby situations here. So yeah, some women feel self-conscious about like if their boobs hang or not, like if they sag, and that's a thing too. How do you feel? Did you feel about that? Pre-marriage, I guess, back when you were dating.
They didn't tag, so
Well, like, or what about like the beat drop we talked about with like taking off the bra,
I mean, we
and it's
married
like a
now.
beat drop.
I'm not in that dating world. So.
No, but before,
they didn't like that didn't come until like we was like years later into marriage and had kids. So while we were dating, like I was perky. Like
Okay.
I probably could have been okay without a bra. I just didn't want to walk around without no bra.
Oh,
but
okay.
it was still like a relief. But I mean, I don't remember the beat dropping before kids.
I think mine just always had some weight on them. So it wasn't like a saggy beat drop.
Okay.
It was just a beat drop. Like there was a little motion.
I don't think it would have made a difference, honestly.
Yeah.
Like he's still happy.
Yeah.
So
shout out to the happy husbands.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I saw a video once where a man was explaining how like he's like, as a man, your role is to hold those breasts up. Like it's your job to support those breasts. And he was serious. I was like, I can't be mad at it, because like, he was saying how like talking about women who feel self-conscious about it, and it was just like I don't think men even really care.
I don't think they do.
Like I think they like a nice perky boob or not saggy, but I think the saggy ones are still getting
love.
Yeah,
They getting
I'm
love,
gonna think
don't
of something for that one too.
Yeah. Okay, I know you will. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves, and I think media has something to do with that too. Because the more you see women, getting the job, and no, you do what you do, but I think that's become like a thing to do so that you don't feel like you're being overlooked.
Yeah, like no one really wants saggy breasts at all. I can't think of anyone who just wants them. So,
But you live with them if you have them.
That's facts.
Yeah, and you learn how to date with them.
They don't care. Or I mean, I remember a comedian talking about it. He was like, "Yeah, women they had that special wire in those push-up bras that keep them all up, and you take it off, and it's just." So it's like, hey,
they want to present their best breast forward.
He still got around to taking it off, so
you're right.
And I'm sure it didn't stop nothing. I'm sure it was like, oh, your breast dropped too low. I'm leaving.
Let me measure that first.
Right. Like, I don't think that's happening. So, girls, if you have a little sag, a beat drop, or perky, it's okay. Like our previous guest, Shara, said, she said, men love boobs.
They do.
And I was talking about boobs with a scar or with a paramedical tattooed nipple on it. So they can get with that. They can get with sag and beat drop and all that too.
I'm sure they can,
Stretch
and they do.
marks, all that.
They will continue to.
Yeah, they don't care. They're creeps. Like,
All right, so different women have different sensations and maybe preferences for touches. So that will be something as it relates to dating to keep in mind, particularly for those who are feeling on the breast. But
for sure.
but I guess when it comes to touch, like I honestly prefer gentle touches. I'm not the rough type.
What is a rough touch?
I think like pulling, grabbing. I don't know. I ain't been touched like roughly, but I could imagine.
Oh, I'm trying to think of what it is.
I don't know. I don't know. It could. I guess it could be pulling. I don't know.
If I had to choose out of gentle and rough, I'm pretty sure I would go with gentle.
That surprises me.
I mean, well, that's why I was like, well, what's rough? Because, like, I don't think anyone's pulling on this.
Well, I think sometimes too, like going back to one of our previous episodes, if they're tender, like sometimes to the touch, it could see. See, like that's like one of those touches. I'm like, don't touch me, because the nipples were tender, and it just did not. So I would like very gentle, and then very gentle.
So when they're tender and that sensation, I'm more like, do touch me.
See, I don't get it.
I like it. I like the feeling.
Okay. It's tender. You want more touching. You want more sensation.
Feels good.
Okay. So nothing is going to be painful for you.
It's provocative. It gets the people going.
But it won't be painful for you.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
But okay, as far as like gentle touch, yeah. I don't know if like certain, I feel like at most maybe like, you know, grabs and squeezes, but
Even while they tender. Not me. Mm-mm.
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, to each his own. Again, there are different preferences for touch, so it is great to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Anyone else out there like me, you know, chime in.
Yeah, go on to that pleasure painful island that is awaiting y'all.
Because she's over here like, don't touch it. I'm like,
Yeah, that time of the month when it's very tender.
I'm dead.
That just, to me, that is one of the most sensitive areas of my body.
Yeah, it be sensitive.
But it's not painful for you.
Sometimes the shower hits me wrong. I'm like, ah.
I've had that happen a couple of times. But then you back up from the shower with some water.
That's hard. That's a hard pressure coming like right at your nipple. That's a lot. And that's not just if they're tender. That's just period.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes it be a little too much.
No, I get it. So I'm just like trying to figure out how that is painful.
It's not painful. It's just not pleasant.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It's just like, ugh.
Cool. All right. Y'all on that island. All right. So, I mean,
Pleasure Island 2024.
I know one thing that, remember we had the music episode and Juvie said bite you. Like, don't do
bite.
that.
Don't bite. I don't think I've encountered biters. Like
No.
that.
Yeah. So,
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
we probably liked it.
I just don't know if I don't know if it was a bite like on a boob or not. But I'm sure.
Some got bit.
I've gotten bit. I've gotten bit.
Mike Tyson.
Holy shit! Sorry about your ear. Tragic.
Missing nipple gonna be next.
Yes. Okay, so this is a weird story. Like, there was once family, if you're listening, you might want to tune out. I don't know. But like, there was once this guy that had like sucked so hard that it was like taking the skin off.
Oh, he wanted to breastfeed.
It was weird. I was like, what just happened here?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he was going a little too hard.
You didn't say nothing because you was enjoying it.
I don't know if I was at the moment or not. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
I just remember looking after the fact and was like,
Well, my skin.
the skin off.
Well, my
Like,
skin.
I don't know. I really don't remember if I felt sensation or pleasure at the time.
Okay.
But I do remember the after effects. And I probably, after that, was like cautious about it. Like, hey, don't go too hard over there.
He was looking for some milk.
I ain't had none then. Fast forward some years, some things happen, but not then.
Good. So you would vocalize if it was like painful, uncomfortable.
Yeah. The only other thing I remember that was like blatantly painful was like someone saw them and had like played with the nipple, like did a swing out of the boob. I was like,
Wait, what?
it's like they grabbed the nipples and
Oh heck
went like
no!
that.
You double dutching?
Yes. Like,
With
tried to
the
double dutch
breast?
the breast. And I was like, stop.
What is wrong?
Like, you know how much these things weigh?
Oh my
Do you know what it
goodness!
feels like for it to that motion?
Oh my
Or they come
goodness!
and make that like that? Yeah.
Blow.
That's a lot. I mean,
Oh my
my breasts
goodness.
were smaller. I was younger, but it was still like, wow. Like, what is this?
But there's a lot of experimentation that they would, they want to try. That was one of them. You satisfied somebody's fantasy with some double dutch breasts.
Yeah, I hope they never did it again. Maybe to someone with smaller boobs. Less of an effect. I got a ripple effect.
Yep, pretty sure.
Okay, so we've learned a lot about us and our breast experiences when it comes to dating. So we have someone else here that we want to share with their experiences. So let's take a look at what they had to say. Okay, so since we've been talking about dating as it regards breasts, we decided to get an outside perspective than our own. So we invited Cecilia here so that she can tell us about her experiences when it comes to dating. So let's welcome Cecilia.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. Hey, Jaleesa. Hey, Chantel.
Hello. Thanks for joining us on the tube today. So, first, we're going to dive in talking about, breast specifically. But first, let's just get a general overview. And can you tell us just what is it like dating in these streets today?
Oh, no, regardless of bus size, just how it is
just
out
in
here.
general, if you could just give us a brief synopsis, maybe.
It's interesting. It's very interesting, interesting times, especially with social media and just, everyone presenting their best representatives of themselves. Anybody can be whoever they want to be and present themselves to be. So it's kind of hard to find authentic connections. Again, we're like a very surface, I would say, generation. So even trying to find something that's not as superficial nowadays is a challenge. It is. It's weeding through a lot of clownish behaviors in the streets right now.
Yes,
for sure.
I hear that from the youngs to the mids to the oldest to the older women too. Just
Age is nothing but a number for sure when it comes to dating and maturity. Right now.
I mean, Chantel is chosen. We're still frozen, Cecilia. So we out here still experiencing all the chills and thrills.
I mean, the ice is melting a little bit. The ice is melting over here.
I'll give it that. We haven't hit the full end of the stage.
No.
But it's starting to melt just a tad. Yeah, we can say that. We can say that. Okay. She's right on that.
Good. That's good for. There's hope. That's what it sounds like. It's hope out there in them streets. Okay.
Absolutely. I think it's important for me, especially to not be a bitter dater. I don't want to date and be bitter. Like I am not going to be the one that categorizes everybody and lump them into, oh, all men are this or all men are that. Because it goes both ways. They could say all women are this and all women are that, because we do have some female savages out here as well. So, I just try to date intentionally. I know myself, took a lot of time to figure out who I was. And so I know what it is that I desire as my compliment. So
I love hearing that. All right. I really do. So in those dating streets, I know you're saying people present themselves. Do you think breasts automatically guarantee dates?
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay.
I think maybe back in the day, and I think I've gotten to the age where I can say back in the day now. That's crazy. But I think in younger years, yes. 90s, you had something that made you stand out. So men were naturally curious, like, oh, she looks like a woman up here, But right now, everyone has that body. And if they don't have that body, they can go get that body. So it's not
That's
like
very
we
true.
are rare. We're not rare right now, like the top heavy women out
I
here.
hadn't thought
So
about it that way. You're right. That we don't stand out like that anymore because, like you said, everybody can go get it.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because if it were guaranteed, then I would have been chosen.
Lines
Listen,
around two corners.
I mean, so yeah, I think that's, yeah. Back in the day, it's like, again, you were like 1 in 5, 1 in 7. Now it's like, we blend in out here.
And I think it's also like with social media too, there are different factors that come into play too, because you don't always have to show yourself fully on social media or wherever you're dating at either. So I think, yeah, you can hide yourself a little bit more too behind social media at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's playing quite the role in the dating streets these days.
Singles. Yeah. What'd you say?
Oh, I just said social media is playing quite the role in the dating world these days, or dating streets these days.
Yeah, and then you have so many apps that you can airbrush, or you have filters, or you have those people who have mastered like specific angles or things like that. So I mean, it's so much that goes into play now. It's like you really don't know what somebody's working with until you know what somebody's working with. So
literally and figuratively. So next question. How do you dress your breasts for dates? Are they accentuated, or do you give them a little something? Or are you covered, like to keep it a little more modest? Like, what do you typically go for?
I mean, it's hard to cover, like just cover them. I feel like even in like a basic cami, they're there. There's no way you can get around that. But I would say in my like almost seasoned age, in my 30s, I'm more intentional on how I dress, because I be presented in a specific manner. I want to be respected in a certain manner. So typically, if I wear like maybe like a lower cut shirt, I'm cover up like the bottom, like I wear pants or something like that. If I wear I don't want to be too sexy. So I always try to balance it out. And I always dress for how I wouldn't mind people seeing me like 5 years from now. When I was in my early 20s and teens, everything was out. I was just like a free spirit, because I mean, we thought, it's like, okay, out of our mom's house, our parents' house, so we're gonna dress how we want, and go to the parties and go to clubs and like that. Say, well, you know better, you do better. And I expect myself and present myself how I want to be treated. So still can be sexy, but still be classy, leave something to the imagination.
Yeah. Do you feel like that your dressing might change like with time as you date the same person? So maybe like it loosens up a little bit if you've been dating this guy for a long time. Like, okay, I'm gonna give him a little something today.
Not me. Everybody's different. And Jaleesa, you know me offline. Like I'm pretty consistent and just I am. Again, I got in the house like 3 minutes before I started taping today's episode, and I'm like gloss, eyebrows, something has to be, together. So I think I would probably pretty like meet me as how have me as far as like how I present myself.
Okay.
Have your breasts ever interfered with dates, like men solely focus on your breasts instead of you as the woman?
No, not really. I don't think I've ever gotten that. Not saying that maybe they weren't thinking it, but no one said it out loud. Like I haven't been tried in that manner on a date before. But also I haven't been on very many dates, believe it or not. Like I'm in this era of where people just, want to WYD, pull up, Netflix, chill, or no Netflix. Mm-hmm. So it's just like I don't know. I don't have that much experience with like courting, like someone being a gentleman or being a man and saying, hey, I want to take you out. I've planned this, get dressed. So out of the experience I have, no, I haven't had that happen. But
all right, y'all heard it, fellas, because we know y'all be listening. Y'all get that courting back out there.
Yeah.
I will say that it wasn't dating, but it was just a guy, I guess, a person of interest who put it in terms. Yes, person of interest at the time. And he was like blatantly looking at my breasts, which were covered. Like my shirt was like this. So I was like,
girl, you can have a turtleneck on.
That ain't gonna help. It ain't gonna help at all. And I asked him, like, are you going like later on or something? I was like, are you a breast man or something? And he was like, yeah, how could you tell? How could I not? How could I not?
Even in your younger years, Cecilia, did you notice anything particular about how you were approached, or would you say you've always carried yourself in a way that no matter what, people approach you with respect?
Oh no, they never just approach me with respect. And no, I did not always carry myself in that way. I just don't know. I don't know. It's just like it never was like the focal point. I think. Okay. Now I think I've always been pretty proportioned. When I say that, like if I go and get sized at uplifting with Jaleesa, and I'm like, there's no way that's my size. There's no way that's my little. They ain't that big.
We all do that.
I'm like, that's my size. But I think that the way that my body is naturally built, even when I was younger, like 20s, teens, now early 30s, it's like it's always kind of like blended in enough to where that they're there. And it's like, okay, she's fuller than most, but it's not enough to where it's like that's the main focal point. So okay. Yeah, it hasn't been like a, oh my gosh, so.
Gotcha.
Okay. So do you mind if we take it a little maybe PG-13 and ask some some boob questions, So would you say that you have any preferences when it comes to breast touch? How they are touched? Maybe you don't want them touched.
So now I don't think it's PG-13. I think it's more like, but it's like after dark, Twitter after dark. But I mean, I have, I guess, a preference. I think like my breasts are just like, I'm naturally a sensual person. I'm very sensual. And so I like gentle, like treat me like a package, like that had a fragile on there. Like I like soft, I like gentle. And so I guess that would pertain to the same thing. So naturally, yes, my breasts are like very in tune with my sensuality. So they do like touch, not aggressive, not like none of that. It needs to be like gentle and, I'm dainty, you know?
This is where we insert Chantel's soundbite when she said, "Don't bite."
Don't bite.
Like I
Juicy
don't like
said
that.
it.
I don't like
You said "don't bite" on the
No,
other
well, yeah, because he
episode.
said he was gonna bite him.
She's talking about Juvenile on Back That Thing Up when he said, "I want to bite you." She was very adamant about not biting.
You will take that bite though.
Yeah. So preferences are a real thing though. It's just like, I don't want it.
Okay. I mean, well, speaking of the don't bites, I guess, are there things that you have experienced that were maybe painful towards the breasticles that, the man might have thought was okay or pleasurable?
I think, yeah, like the biting and nibbling. It's like don't do that. Don't want to recover from pleasure. It's not pleasurable if I have like downtime or recovery. So I'm
Right.
okay. I'm okay. There is somebody out there who enjoys the recovery period. It's like, ooh, and when your shirt touches, like, ooh, I don't want any of that. Okay. I want to be able to go right on with my everyday, feelings and things like that.
I understand that.
Senses.
Do you, Julius?
I knew you were finna go with that. Yes, I understand that. She can't get over me saying that I like the tenderness of the breast, like before your period and stuff like that. And
Tenderness.
yeah, like when they're all tender and sore, and I was like,
sore.
we were talking about touch during that time, and where she said don't touch, I was like, I welcome touch during that time. So she's been talking about me going on my little special island of people who like
Pleasure Pain Island is what it's called. She has some people who will welcome her there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Instagram for finding like-minded individuals or like-breasted individuals, whatever.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that's like after dark, but okay.
Oh, stop it now. But yeah, so no recovery period. You're gonna hit them with that meme from The Simpsons where she put her hand on Lisa's shoulder. Like time to tap out, man.
Yeah, I'm okay. I just and I think that's just a part of when you're maturing and you're getting to know yourself, like you should be able to talk to your partner and tell them what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy, and vice versa. Sometimes like I think when you kind of just like trying to figure things out, you kind of just go with the flow, whatever. But now it's like, okay, how about let's try not doing that.
Yeah.
How was that conversation? Like, how does it come up? Like, I'm interested to know.
I'm a pretty like transparent person, but I think it's good to not be passive aggressive. Like, don't make someone feel bad, and don't just be saying, "Oh, I don't like her." It's how you say things to people. It's how you present things to people. It's like, what can I do to make you like, to spice up, what we're doing, make you feel good? And it's like, okay, well, I like when you do. You be subtle with it, focus on what you want them to do and not all the things you don't want them to do. I think that's a good way to present it.
Yeah. And the approach is everything, I think. I'm pretty straightforward too with what I like or shut up.
I didn't say
like what I like and don't like. So I mean, I could say no, or you could just like nicely redirect, like, I'm gonna redirect you here. Hit you with the shoulder tap sometimes, Or I mean, it could be not the elbow.
That's when the bite came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could say, or just it could be a conversation afterwards or something so that you don't mess up the moment.
Not immediately after though.
Yeah.
That's like deflating. It's like someone really think that they was doing something.
Hey, she hated every minute.
And you couldn't wait until
Right. Or you just like, yeah, or just other
Timing and
things.
tone. is
Yeah, they bring up the conversation, be like, oh, I like this, or I don't like this.
So don't play Tragic by Jasmine Sullivan right now.
Mm.
Yeah, correct. But I think that's too, like, I think you know how we're like in this era where everyone is like, oh, I want to be a soft, I want the soft life, I want to be soft and da da da. But I think a lot of men were waiting on that. Like, they want us to be soft too. Like, they don't want us to be talking to them crazy or like making them feel small. Like
Yeah.
those type of like delicate conversations. It's like
Those are facts.
talk nice.
Yeah.
You know, talk nice. So
I hear that in the streets on both sides, like how men do want women to be more more nurturing, more comforting, a little bit more settled, and and then women are just kind of like, if they were going hard at it, just trying to flip it and like, now I want to be pampered, so those conversations need to be had amongst each other, because I don't know that they're always happening. They might be happening in their groups, but not with the people who they need to be having it with.
And that's why I say, like, where I'm at in life now, communication is very key, honestly, with everybody in all sorts of relationships, but for sure in a dating relationship, because like, how you gonna know if you don't talk about it? So.
No. And then you can't, I think too, like, our expectations, sometimes we want like you need to come already knowing, but I think that's a part of like getting to know your partner. Like, that's things that it's like this, they might have done that with someone else and they enjoyed these things and how they did things, but with this person you have to like relearn each other or learn each other, so you can't be so quick you got to be able to teach them, like, literally, and vice versa, like how you want to be loved and handled and things like that. So I think that's a healthy way of navigating that.
Mm-hmm. Preach, Pastor Seal.
That's not my calling, but I love God though. He blessed us with what we have for this conversation right now. So I'm forever grateful for taking your time designing us over here.
He put in a little extra with me, you know what I'm saying?
Few extra drops.
Chocolate drops.
You're blessed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're all little chocolate drops. Look at us. It'd be like that.
Love to see it.
That show, a Black Lady sketch show, where they had the Black Lady courtroom thing. I don't know if y'all remember that. And they start singing the song. No? Okay.
I remember.
I'll show you.
90s, 2000s?
Nah, a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Very much recent. I literally just watched the last season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen y'all the clips. Sorry.
Right. So it sounds like your experience, breasts don't necessarily take over the dating. You are allowed to come to the date in your full self and get to experience it for really what it is. So that's good to hear.
Yeah. Yep. And I think if you wanted to take over the whole date, you can, but that goes back to, like you were saying, how you dress or present yourself. It depends on what type of, if you're trying to, get that vibe, like cut straight to the chase, then yeah, you can present and make it the focal point. But I think if you want to be like, you trying to build a long-term something, you really want this person to like respect you and, get to know you, then yeah, you gotta be more intentional with how you dress.
I do have to add this. It is back to school time. And this is what my husband and I have discovered, is that these mamas going up into these schools looking for their next date. And I think that's the wrong place to be showing your breastises and just don't do that. Especially if you got kids in general, but your son going there, you want his friends looking at you like that's kind of weird in my opinion. And then if you have a daughter, how are you presenting yourself to her? That is my opinion. The school place is not the place for you to be showing every little thing. So I'm just putting that out there for the hot mamas out there.
Miss Parker.
Yeah, I mean, the same, we can probably go a whole different direction with that conversation, but it's just, again, I think it goes back to like how you see yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just how, like, I remember early 20s, probably like mid 20s, probably up until about 28. Like, I dated at the level of my self-esteem. Like, I didn't think much of myself, and that was like the people who you probably if we go back like retro and look at the people I entertained, or even the way that I dressed and showed off certain things, it was at the level of what I thought of myself. So I think even now, like when people do things like that, like show up to places where it's completely inappropriate with everything hanging out or everything showing, it's like that's just the level of what they think of themselves or how they respect themselves. So we
We
can't
got a lot of women who need to work on their self-esteem then.
yeah. And that's another reason why people need to kind of spend some time to themselves and stop trying to date until they actually heal and work on some things. Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say there's somebody like that on the show, Abbott Elementary.
Oh yeah.
Who was trying, well, she did start to date the guy, the male teacher there. So, there's that. Maybe she's inspiration to others.
Maybe that's what they came from, because they started
Maybe it's
popping
very-
off like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
It's a very popular show, so who knows? And then I just thought about when you were saying like what men are looking for and kind of that whole soft life, subtle, all that stuff. And I couldn't help but think about the post I had shared last week for Hump Day Humor, where it was like men always asking, what do you bring to the table? So it showed the woman with the big breasts and how they sat on the table. And then the other girl who had no breasts and how she was just trying to like pinch and get it to sit on the table, but it wouldn't sit on the table. So yeah, just wanted to put it out there. We're
Hump Day Humor.
blessed to have a table to offer.
But that's not the only thing we bring into the table.
Period. Don't get it twisted.
It's a great feature. It's not like our only feature though.
Not at all.
So,
and the features change. So don't get used to that.
That part too.
For sure.
Great. Well, do you have any other questions, Chantel, for dating? I know this is it's not uncharted territory for you, but it's been a minute.
It's been a long minute. But no, I mean, I hear what goes on from my friends and my husband's friends. He don't tell me all y'all business, but I hear stuff. So
yeah, it's interesting down here.
I'm not too far removed.
And did you have questions for us, Cecilia? I mean, I know you know me personally. You can still ask something if you want, of course,
I mean, okay, what conversations? Chantel, your mother? Your mother?
You didn't hear them kids?
I wanted to make sure because I got a dog and a kid. So I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know. When I hear background noise, it's either or.
Yes, I am a mother.
What conversations do you suggest should be had, and at what age when it comes to like breasts, when you have like daughters or maybe nieces? Like, how do you suggest like navigating those conversations? Because I don't think those conversations were had. Like, it was just like, here's your training bra, here's whatever, and it's like, okay. But now I think we're talking more and communicating with young people a lot more. So I'm just interested.
I start whenever they're able to understand. Like my daughter was probably 3 when we were in the shower together. She asked what they wore, and I told her. She's fronted me on some things before. I'm glad I have tough skin, but she notices things, and so we have those conversations. My boy came home. He was about 4. I don't even use this term, but we have a painting. And we have 2 paintings in our bedroom. It's a Black couple. They're like in their lingerie. But they're loved, like they're cuddled together. And so at the time, one of my sons was like, something about the golden boobies. One, I don't even use that term, so he must have heard that at school, but he knew what to associate it with. So we had a conversation about that, like mom have breasts, women have breasts. So I just give it to him at the appropriate age when it comes to development, like when you start noticing those things, because I am around young girls sometimes, and you start having those conversations about development. And, if their parents aren't talking to them at first, I would talk to the parents first and ask, have you had this conversation yet? You can start having this conversation. If you're going through puberty, these are the steps that are going on. And girls are going through puberty so much younger. Like a lot of girls are going through it so much younger now. So these conversations definitely need to be had. And breast I mean, we should not shy away from this topic because they're going to grow. They're going to be there. And we need to know, like when my husband and I talk to my son, my oldest is in the 6th grade. We've kind of had doses of conversations with him, but I want to sit down together, my husband and I, because he's going to come to it from the male angle, and I want my son to hear it from the female angle, like what girls go through as well, and how you're supposed to respect girls. Don't be popping their bras. I want him to, be respectful and mindful of that. So it depends on the maturity of the child, but they definitely need to be having this. We need to be having these conversations with our kids.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny you asked that because we had just went over that because it was back to school time. So that was something we focused on, which was puberty and then menstruation and how to put on a bra, those types of things as we're going back to school, because these are things that parents need to talk to their kids about on both ends, like she said, boys and girls. So yeah, perfect time.
Yes.
Yes, definitely needed and essential conversations for sure. I don't know if like are men still breast men? Or are they more they are? Okay. No. Cause men like the peaches, the booties too.
And that's another topic we have coming up.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
So the men still have their preferences too. Like some men are the breast men and some okay. Most people like who converse with me don't make it to the point that try to converse with me. Don't make it to the point to where we even have these conversations. So I'm asking like what they still doing out there.
but like you said earlier, like breasts are now booties and breasts, you can go get that. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Does it do? I mean, I guess, and I know men, especially, men are men and they love a woman, like a woman of, the body of a woman. But I guess it's just like, I don't hear the topics anymore or just like the emphasis on them because it's just like everybody looks the same or everybody is trying to look the same. It's like, but I do see sometimes on social media where the men are wanting like the natural hair, the natural this still, like bring back the 90s, Nia Longs and Sanaa. Yeah, so I just wonder like what y'all hear like from the different perspectives too of men.
They're out there. And some of them, I mean, once upon a time, one of my friends told me, he was like, Jaleesa, anyone, like, he's like, any guy that you've ever dated is a breast man. And I was like, do you think so? Because I didn't think that at all. But I mean, I feel like there were some that I was like, okay, like he's a breast man. And then I think that some of them end up just kind of converting once they have, to be honest, I feel like they converted. And they, now they're on another side that they didn't know that existed within them. Like
once you go breast, like
I was just thinking that.
Forget the rest. Once you go breast, forget the rest.
Put it on the shirt, somebody. Lord.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's just not. No.
It's like amazement all around. It's like, how can you focus after that? I know.
I'm a changed man.
Well, no, I don't know about that.
Not all the changes. Just
yeah.
Yeah. I've even like had conversations with some guys like that. Like, are you sure you're a butt man? Are you sure?
But like you said, you don't know. It's like trying like a new food. You think that you know what you like until you are introduced to something you never had before. And it's like, oh, so this is what I've been missing out on. Or, I didn't know, everything's different with breasts.
Mm-hmm.
So.
A whole new world.
Okay. Okay.
I need sense. I'm going to get it one day. It's not today or tomorrow, but soon, maybe.
It's okay.
But yeah. I did want to ask, did you talk to your son about these things that you were asking about? Like, he's getting a little older now. Was he 10?
He's 9. He'll be 10 in September. We haven't gotten down to that specifically, like the like pointing out like body parts. What he's understanding and learning and the level of reception that he's at is like the appropriateness of privacy. So if I am in like the shower or if my door is closed or if I'm changing, like it's not appropriate for you to just bust in. Or, you know, at this age, you are 9 now, you're not a toddler. So it's like, you know, knock on the door. You know, when women, you know, are have the door closed or in the restroom, you can't just open the door. Well, really for anybody, make sure you're not. But we're more so talking about like boundaries with that. We don't need to be changing in the same room because, you know, you're going to get to the age where you're dating and you don't need to be seeing of me the same things you eventually are going to be seeing in that realm of things. So, but I think once he gets to like, he's still like really kiddish, and I appreciate that about him because he's not there to where he's asking or like really into. He likes girls. He's like, oh my god, he wants all of them because they're pretty, and I'm like, well, you're not dating all of them, but you know, but it's not to the point to where he's starting to be curious about that or have those kind of feelings. So we'll cross that bridge, I think, when he kind of matures a little bit more and starts to like develop and can understand exactly what I'm referring to. So
That reminded me of a conversation I had with one of my cousins who he's a father. His son is of college age. And he was just saying how dating is different for this generation. He said they date like through games. Like they're gaming, that's the date. Like so and I even have this question too, like how will dating be for my kids when a lot of the time their interactions outside of school is on online. And was my cousin pointed out, like they would go to the skating rink. He's older than I am, but you know, we had those opportunities outside of school to, you know, get to know each other in that area. So it's interesting to see how this dating is going to be for these kids coming up.
Yeah. And the thing is, the thing that's like concerning though is because we also didn't have as much exposure into just like grown type of stuff, you know? So they have it all in their hands. Like you can go look like what we see on Instagram and social media. If your kid has a YouTube or Instagram or social media, they're seeing, you know, entertainers or influencers dressed any kind of way. So it's like you do have to kind of have those conversations so much earlier because they see and now they're curious and now they want to know. So yeah, it's just different. Everything's different. How they date, what they're interested in, when they become interested in these things. It's all different. Like it's all different for sure. But you know, we'll definitely get to that conversation. He's still excited over Ninja Turtles, so it's like I probably have a little just
you got some time.
So
that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely also feel like moving forward with dating, that is something that I probably think about though a lot more. Like I think I'll try and look and see if somebody's looking down here like Jaleesa experience. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention in the past. So I'm gonna just be more watchful and see what, you know, these cues are out here.
It was like just once, I feel like maybe someone else, like maybe
he couldn't help himself.
But I also believe
that was the one she converted.
No. I also believe that man is on the spectrum, and that's something that we had a conversation about, to where he is most likely on the spectrum. So his social cues and stuff were a little like, you know, whatever. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but
yeah, no, it's all good. And you know, it's a whole melting pot of types of people out here. So,
right.
Yeah.
So like, you know, brilliant guy, obviously, like of course, but it was just like, like you don't realize you're doing that. But other, I mean, I think maybe a glance here or there. You know, you got to sneak a peek sometimes. You know, see what you're working with, I guess. So I'll give you that. But as far as the blatant hard eyes and stuff, you know, drooling or something like it's a cartoon, nah, don't want all that.
Yeah. I would say, so one more question. So dating, Shinta, you can answer this too. So have y'all preferences in like bras specifically? Do like them, are the men knowing enough to like know and vocalize like which ones they like the lace, the underwire, the what
Yeah,
you
my
know?
husband, he wants me to wear more of the sexy type of lingerie, and it is the lacy stuff. And I
Mm.
don't like lace.
Like
And
the
if he's,
sheer or just lace in general?
I would say that I think it's just not the regular looking kind. Like if it has some type of decor to it, he is like, "Oh, you wearing that today?"
Like texture. Yeah.
Yes, something different.
Okay.
At least he's still. Let's see.
He still what? Go on.
At least he still presents that he wants to see me in that.
In my experience, not so much as like wire, underwire or something. I've had some that have like color preferences. I tend to wear more lacy, thin bras, period. So I didn't hear anything about that. Just colors and I've even heard just, I don't like bras at all. Don't wear bras around me type stuff. So yeah.
I mean, I feel very, very comfortable in my home with no bra. But I like how they sit up. So I don't want to just do away with bras. So,
Yeah.
you know.
But I'm just saying preferences I've heard
Yeah.
specifically, like they like and I think now that I think about it, there was another thing like a guy where it was like, because like I said, I wear thin bras. So in my college years, there was a guy who saw my bra, was like, oh, like, and that's all you, because I guess back then it was more common for like padded bras and stuff like that. So like that was a little eye opener for him, just like, oh, okay, like a bra that doesn't have padding. So that's
Yeah.
it.
I think I've experienced like, especially, and I have to plug lifting. I've been a customer of Uplifting since like, how many years? When did you start the company? I feel like I've had bras since like 2018. 2013. Okay. So when I moved back here into Houston, it was like 2015, 2016. So around that time. And I think like they've enjoyed being exposed to that bras can be so cute and so set. It's like, where you get this one from, So I think that they don't know until they know, and then once they know, it's like you can't go back. You can't go back to like regular, So yeah.
But there's some guys that like don't take the time to appreciate it at all. Like it's just like take this off. But it's like, wait, hold on.
Oh, we're gonna
keep this on quality.
I think if a man can like pick out what he wants to see you in, it would include the lingerie too. And so like that's my husband. He'll like, I want to see you in this. And so he's very detailed and particular. So I think if you are that type of man, you are going to be detailed. Maybe not all the time, but you will have a preference for some bras. Especially if you've seen it and it piqued your interest, you're going to want to see your woman in it.
What so do they have preferences over like matching, like colors or matching sets, or it's just like it don't even matter because it's coming off anyway? This is hypothetical, y'all, because my life right now is very inactive. But I'm just asking questions that the people might want to know.
The people might want
to. For me, I guess it depends on the guy. Like some guys, if they're into lingerie, then they'll pay attention to stuff like that, and they will like the matching sets and the different colors and stuff like that. But then you also have ones that just don't pay attention at all, and it's just like, take it off, or like, okay, yeah, take it off, like not paying attention to it like that. And then there's, I mean, I don't know, some people like you with underwear on, some people like you with underwear off, who knows? So I guess it's just all the preferences.
Okay.
Would
That
say
makes
you should say that. Makes sense. I
sense.
don't
Yeah.
know. I have a lingerie drawer and I got my panty and underwear drawer and it's whatever. Like my panty underwear drawers, my panty and bra drawers, they don't match. So
Mhm.
I don't think he cares about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like you said, it's like it's a matter of preference and if people pay attention and stuff like that. But then too, I think like every day where it's like whatever.
Yeah.
This on by. But like if it is like a special occasion or you trying to, like let me spice it up or whatever, I think maybe you'll like coordinate a little bit with
And
that. So
that's on us to be intentional
yeah,
about that, you know.
Mhm.
you're right.
I
Do
did.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Julie. I was going to ask you
No,
a
you go ahead.
question. So, if let's say you go through all these years of wearing like the wrong bra size or not having enough support, does that alter the way that your breasts are? Like, do they start to like hang more? Like, does it have any effect? Like, if you've been wearing too big bra, like the bras are too big your whole life, no, not adequate support. Does it affect like anything, like physically, anything, back support, how your breasts sit, any of that?
I mean, I think so. So, like, for sure, if it's bad, then you don't like that can mess with your posture for sure
Okay.
because you have that proper support, and it's important to have like the right number and cup size so that you're like sitting upright. Otherwise, you're kind of like this and sitting certain ways, trying to keep your breast in position.
Gotcha.
And it might not be so sudden. And then at the end of the day, everyone's breasts are different. But I feel like if you are going a long time without wearing a proper support or any support at all, then it will start to sag. Whereas I know some people who say like, not wearing a bra does help to make them not sag. But I mean, from my experience and people I've talked to, they have expressed that it can kind of like seem like it's sagging, or even just thinking about quarantine where a lot of people weren't wearing bras and stuff. It seemed like my breasts are starting to sag a little bit. So I think that
Right.
happened.
Okay. I was always wondering about that, like, because I still know so many people, and I refer them to you, but it's like I don't know. I think that's one of the places to where I think we need to still try to budget and prioritize. Like it matters, the right bra, right fit. It's worth the purchase. So
Trust me, I know. And I see people, that's why I always say, like, I meet people where they're at because everyone's not ready to, be the woman in the mirror and make that change. So when they are, I'm here, but there are a lot of women like that and you see it all the time. So I'm just like, whenever you're ready, we're gonna get you together, get your outfits looking right.
yeah,
Because you're always popping out, spilling out all over the place.
I need to be like a billboard. It's like when someone compliments me next time, I'm like, well, if you want yours to look like this. Oh,
just the purse. The other thing I was going to say earlier that I forgot to touch on when you were talking about preferences was just that I did have a POI person of interest who had expressed that they like, they didn't specify anything with bras in particular, but they were like, as far as underwear, I like what he said that it was like what women refer to these days as granny panties. But he was like, I like the full panty, like I don't need the thong, the boy short, just like your regular. I think he said like a bikini or just a full panty or something. I was like, I get it, which isn't the most common preference at all.
Does he like it, or does he say he doesn't need the other stuff? Is he okay with either or does he like his preference is full coverage?
His preference is the full coverage panty. And he said, I think he said the other ones just don't do anything for him, but he likes the full panty.
I know for me, well, boob tube can be TMI because we're talking about breasts. So anyway, for me, at this point about conversation, we talked about everything else. I don't wear like certain underwear for the other person. It's more so depending on like if I wear like a fitted skirt or like a bodycon dress, and it's like, obviously I'm going to wear, I have both like full coverage, but I mainly, depending on like what I'm wearing, I usually dress it for me. And I think it also goes back to like dance and like cheerleading, because back in the day, like high school, college, when we were dancing, we couldn't wear full coverage. It just wasn't going to look right in the uniform. And so it's kind of just been like that's what I automatically gravitate to. But I don't think I even thought about that like that. Like some men would prefer full coverage, but maybe, well, I'm not going to
so.
never say. Yeah.
And that's funny you mentioned dance and stuff, because one of my, as we call the breast friends, when we were on the dance team, I can still vividly see her doing her toe touch on the football field, and I'm behind her in the formation, and you see this black leotard and some white underwear sticking out, covered by the stockings, and I was like, girl, and because it wasn't until shortly after that when she had to get a thong, which I think we were like in 9th grade. And I think that was when I had gotten my first thongs too, or maybe right before that. But just like for sure with dance, it's a lot of times you can't wear stuff like that.
Or some coaches won't let you even wear thongs because you can still see like the imprint.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah,
they just don't want you to wear anything. And I think parents sometimes have a problem with it. So I was visiting my mom's house one summer from college, and she was doing laundry, and she was just like, "Is this your sister's?" And I was like, "No, those are mine." And she really had an attitude. The fact that I was wearing thongs, and I'm just like, one, I've been wearing them. Number two, I'm like, if it's that much of an issue, I can do the laundry. But I'm like, I'm at the age of 19. It's like, this is just not, it's like gone are the days where people are really just wearing only full coverage. I'm sorry. But I think that's like, oh my gosh. I think in her mind, it was like another pill to swallow that I was growing up into a woman. Like I'm not a, little girl anymore. So I always thought that was I'm like, if it's going to be this emotional of a moment for you, I can just do the laundry. It's okay.
I think my mom bought my first thongs, so she knew, and it was just like, like you, how you talk about matching your underwear for what you're wearing. That's what I do, and I don't mean by color. Some people do it by color too. Like, oh, if I'm wearing black pants, I want to wear black underwear. Like, listen, the underwear could be blue for all I care, but as long as they match, because I don't like seeing visible panty lines like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting though. It's so, I think some of it is just by nature though. Like we like what we like, and but I think when it comes to dating, it's also a little bit of compromise, because I'm sure if they were wearing some underwear that we didn't like, then that would be a conversation. So I think you kind of have to meet in the middle on what each other finds attractive and things like that.
Like, sir, what is this satin thong you got going on?
What are you still wearing whitey tighties? Like, what is
right.
Do they still make those?
Please don't come with the plaid boxers.
Some women are boxer, some women like boxers, some women like briefs. I'm a brief type person myself, but I mean, I could. No, I'm gonna stick with what I like. I'm a brief person. Not the shorts, not the.
I just don't want nobody coming with the plaid at this point in time.
Plaid? The boxers?
The old school plaid boxers,
Oh my God, that's
Oh, I sleep in those now.
Yeah,
right, I do sleep in men's boxers.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I haven't seen those since
college. I'd rather not.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. We have our preferences too.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. But it's just not as much. We have a little more to offer than men. We bring a little more to the table in that aspect, pun intended. So there's more to be considered when it comes to us.
Agreed.
I've enjoyed this. Come on, girl talk.
It was fun. A little bit more than PG 13. Jaleesa.
You think we went to R?
I don't think we went to R. I think it's a gray area. I think it's a PG-13, and it needs to be something in the middle. I don't know why they jumped from PG-13 to R. It needs to be mature. It's just mature.
Oh, someone to say for mature.
Yeah, for mature audiences only. Like this is the yeah. But I enjoyed it. I haven't had some fun girl talk in a long time. Usually like when I'm on like podcasts, it's like about work or business. But this was fun to just talk openly.
We might need some more girl talk sessions. I think that would be fun.
Mhm. Yeah. Because
We
there's
have
so
a
much,
little wine or something. Can we have a glass of wine?
Ah,
You know?
Yeah.
the creative coming out. I was there, but just saying some stuff.
You talking about me and me being creative. She is, you talking to Cecilia here. She's
love
always
it.
creating something.
Yeah,
So
we having some.
whatever you think of me, she's on times 10, I would say. What say you, Cecilia?
I have visual. I don't know. It's just like I have an eye. But that's why I hardly get good rest because it's like I have like visions at the oddest times. I have like journals next to my bed because I'm like sometimes I think about stuff and it's like I have to get it out. Like so it's a blessing. It's a gift for sure.
It's my little Pisces sister right here, you know. Little fishy girl.
Yeah.
So you're seeing eye to eye on a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did enjoy this time. Just seeing where can people find you?
Of course, you can find me on all major socials at Sil the Writer, SIL the Writer. My website is www.silthewriter.com. So again, we type the handle in TikTok, Snap, Instagram, Facebook, it'll pull me up.
Yes, go support my friend and her ventures and her writing. It's nice.
Thank you.
And then men, if you're watching this, if you're coming at her, you better come correct.
But you say if they watching, so come correct.
If you coming at her, if you go and be like, I want to find this at Sil, listen, your best friend Jaleesa ain't gonna be your worst nightmare. You better come correct. We're gonna play around these parts.
Yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited to see the episode. I'm excited to interact and engage with, people's feedback and comments. But I love what y'all are doing with BoobTube. I think it's very enlightening and refreshing, and I can't wait to see where it continues to go.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it. We hope that you all did enjoy this video, probably got some laughs out of it, and got to know us on a deeper level than before, which is fine. That's what we're here to talk about here on BoobTube, all things breast. Yeah. But we keep it breast to breast while talking about it, so it's fair.
Yes,
it's right.
We got to share our stories too. Keep it real.
You get it from the source. Sources, so they come in too.
They do.
So. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Please tell us if you've had some similar experiences or even worse, like especially when it comes to the pain. Like, let us know if you've had some painful instances or some skin losses and things of that nature.
Only you, child.
I know, right? What a life I've lived. So let us know and stick around for next week's episode as we see if this dating has led to some other things when it comes to breast. So until then,
bye.